I'm Buck.
I'm back.
Y'all know that guy. He was a little jit back in the day, bro. He said that I play Pokemon Go every day, you know. But yes, I am back, and look at the time. Let me just take this out. Look at the time. Oh my gosh. Yes, it is accurate, guys. It's a consequence, bro. It's a consequence. But today is gonna be a little bit different. You saw the title of the video, and you know, people of intelligence would know that I'm referencing the book, which is what I'm actually going to be reading. Wow, I'm going to be reading a book. Great. I'm not copying Kai Cenat, though. Kai Cenat. I'm not copying him. It's just the fact that I had this idea freaking in my notes app, bro, for like 2 years. Because I've read this book before. But, of course, now this wants to go freaking do crap and make. And you know, the only thing that I have to say that is you can't play both sides of two different coins. And what I mean by that is you can't be this like hyperactive freaking thing, you know, and have all that extra crazy stuff and, you know, settle in yourself as this type of persona and then try to play the part of a self-improvement person, right? And when I say play the part is I will always support anybody and everybody that is in the self-improvement space. You know, we could judge, we could say all this and that, but he is, I guess, to a point, still trying to improve himself, no matter how performative it may seem. So I'll give him credit there, but bro, he's trying to take over my space. By my space, I mean, bro, nobody knows me. I'm a nobody, bro, but it doesn't matter, bro, because as I try to progress in the space, bro, competition. But that's part of being a man. Anyways, The Way of the Superior, oh, you can't even see it. The Way of the Superior Man by David Dia. This book right here is what the series will be focusing on. I am going to start a mini series on this, so there's not going to be any background music, there's not going to be any edits. So again, if you need, you know, the hyperactivity of edits and everything that you need to keep an attention span for a 5-year-old, and now you're probably a grown-ass man watching this, and you need that, this is not the video. This is not the video. This video is only for people that are trying to prove themselves. This video is only for people that want to be superior. And it's that simple. This video in and of itself is going to, at least some of them, if they pay attention to this video and the ones coming forth, bro, they will be eliminated, bro, and that's my purpose. Like, they're gonna die, bro, and that's gonna be the greatest thing that will ever happen to them. But let me just get to the point here of the intro. I think this book specifically will, and many other books that I will start mini series on, I think reading this, articulating how I understand it and how I would involve it in my life, I think that right there is going to help me be able to bring out more of what I have in my head, you know. Because yesterday my mental darkness hit 100, the meter hit 100. Shout out freaking needy streamer overload. Shout out Ame. But yeah, and I came to the epiphany, I came to the conclusion that ultimately, you know, maybe if I read, it will be like I'm having a conversation, because I'm going to be able to insert my points here and there. And the result of that is me being able to flow better in conversation. Well, not in conversation, actually. It will flow better in me talking to the camera, aka talking to you guys. So, let's get this started. I will be reading it actually technically backwards really quick, though, because I want to say something first in the first part, and then I want to read back into how it, you know, why I'm reading this specific version, the 20th anniversary version. See that, guys? 20th anniversary version, guys. But let's see. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite parts of the book, and it's not even actually a part of the book. May this book serve the liberation of your true gifts, so that countless multitudes of beings may benefit even more from your living and loving. That right there, bro, is pretty cool. So let's see. So I'll skip ahead this, and I'll skip to the introduction before I get to the version. So, again, this is not just me reading a book, okay? I am going to be inserting a bunch of what I believe and a bunch of what has affected my life throughout the story, and probably more in the end. I will try to, because honestly, if you're just going to do like an innate reading and then just add nothing to it, you're kind of just being. So I'm gonna try to add value to it. Let's read, guys. Let's read. Like we're in freaking kindergarten. Actually, one good thing from school, bro. Introduction. This book is a guide for a specific kind of newly evolving man. This man is unabashedly masculine. He is purposeful, confident, and directed, living his chosen way of life with deep integrity and humor, as he is sensitive, spontaneous, and spiritually alive, with a heart commitment to discovering and living his deepest truth. Wow, I'm actually a half-decent reader. This kind of man is totally turned on by the feminine. Okay, I might laugh a lot, or because it actually kind of might be funny, like saying it out loud, and then people in real life might know me, and then they hear me say this out loud, and they're like, "What is this nigga talking about?" Shout out from that last video that I made. It's not about focusing, because I can focus, and I'm actually really hardwired in focusing properly. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that I want to talk to you guys. So if I do laugh, just know that it's because of silly reasons. Duh. He loves to take his woman sexually, to ravish her, but not in some old-style macho fashion. Rather, he wants to ravish her with so much love that she is vanished. They both vanish, in the fullness of loving itself. He is dedicated to incarnating love on this earth, through his work and his sexuality. And he does so as a free man, bound neither by outer convention nor inner cowardice. This newly evolving man is not a scared bully, posturing like some King Kong in charge of the universe, nor is he a new age wimp, all spineless, smiley, and starry-eyed. He has embraced both his inner masculine and feminine, and he no longer holds on to either of them. He doesn't need to be right all the time, nor does he need to be always safe, cooperative, and sharing, like an androgynous Mr. Nice Guy. He simply lives from his deepest core, fearlessly giving his gifts, feeling through the fleeting moment into the openness of existence, totally committed to magnifying love. To help illuminate the purpose of the way of the superior man, the creator, David Dia, will draw on a few principles of sexuality and spiritual growth which are developed by his book, Intimate Communication. Until fairly recently, modern roles for men and women were fixed and separated. Men were supposed to go out and earn money, when women were supposed to stay home and take care of the kids. Men often manipulated their women through physical and financial dominance and threats. Women often manipulated their men through emotional and sexual strokes and stabs. The typical and extreme caricatures of this previous time are the macho jerk and the submissive housewife, as we're told in the past times. If you're reading this book, you have probably outgrown this first stage of sexual identity, or at least you can smile about it. Next came, and is still coming, a stage in which men and women are both sought to balance their inner masculine and feminine energies towards a 50-50, 50-50 in quotations, becoming more like one another. For instance, in the United States in 1960s, men began to emphasize their inner feminine. They learned to go with the flow. They let go of their rigid one-dimensional masculine stand and embraced long hair, colorful clothes, nature, music, and a more carefree and sensual lifestyle. All means of embellishing or magnifying radiance, energy, and the abundance force of life, magnifying the feminine. And just so you know, guys, if y'all, you guys won't understand the majority of this. At least this part that I'm going to say, the introduction, again, is a showing of, intelligence. If you hear 50-50, and then you automatically assume, oh, I don't want to pay half the bill, blah, 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 blah. You're not intelligent enough for this video. I'm sorry, but you're not intelligent enough to understand the concepts that are going to be brought in this mini-series, okay? So if your mind literally, because I've dealt with a lot of dumb people in my life. And again, if you hear 50-50 and your mind just went to, oh, I don't want to 50-50. Oh, why should I do spend on the first date? Why should I, blah, 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 blah. If your mind just went to that when it's clearly talking about the inner workings of a man, and you're thinking of paying the bill, yeah, this video is not for you. You're not intelligent enough to stay here. So, as I continue on. Meanwhile, many women were doing just the opposite. They were magnifying their inner masculine, which, at the level of human character, appears as direction or clarity of purpose and vision. Women gained financial and political independence. They strengthened their careers, focused more on personal long-term goals, went to school in increasing numbers for advanced degrees, and learned how to be more assertive in their needs and desires. Chances are, if you're reading this book, you're probably more balanced than your parents were. If you're a woman, you're probably more independent and assertive than your mother was. If you are a man, you're probably more emotionally expressive and open-minded than your father was. I could say for sure I am. And, wavering if that's a good thing or not. It's just a fact about me. It's crazy because a lot of the modern day men that I do surround myself with, well, I would actually say it's a half decent 50-50 split. Like, there are the men that I surround myself with. They are the emotional type. And by emotional, I don't say like emotional outburst, can't control their emotions type. I just say they're more expressive in how they are feeling versus, there's the other side of my friends that, are I would say traditional men, the more grounded, hardcore, tell you shit to your face and move on type of men. And again, it's important to balance, as per se the book here is going to, describe in the future chapters. Or at least such qualities seem acceptable to you, even if you don't express them yourself. Remember, not that many years ago, a man who got his hair styled or a woman who wore a business suit were often considered suspect. I was legit back in the day. Maybe I wasn't even born. It was a good thing. As time progressed, for men to embrace their inner feminine and women to embrace their inner masculine, they became less fragmented and more whole in the process. They became less dependent on each other. Men could, indeed, change diapers, and women were completely capable of emptying the mousetraps. Macho men became more loose in feeling. Submissive housewives became more independent and directed. In terms of social roles, men and women became more similar. This was an improvement for everyone. But this 50-50 stage is only a second and intermediate stage of the growth for men and women, not an endpoint. And I truly do believe that, because as we're seeing now we're still seeing the growth in, the masculine and the growth in the feminine. And with this, half-heartedly given to, I would say, the 50-50 culture itself, which in and of itself is, again, not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing for you to embrace your feminine if you're a man. And if you're a woman, embrace your, masculine. But the 50-50 that I am trying to speak about right now is that what I'm saying, embracing your feminine. A consequence, let's just say a consequence of not embracing your feminine as a man is trauma, like heavy trauma, heavy burden. And as a man, I do believe that you're supposed to carry a burden of some sort. And you're supposed to do everything, right? But why have an unnecessary war in your head that can be dispersed through femininity and not only indulging in that femininity but bringing it into your life as well? Let's see if people are intelligent enough to understand that. Side effects of this trend towards sexual similarity can be seen as a major cause of today's unhappiness. The trend toward 50-50 has resulted in economic and social equality, but also in sexual neutrality. Bank accounts are balancing while passions are fizzling out. Men are less macho while sex and violence continue to increase on the TV and movies. Women are more in control of their economic destiny while they go in this is funny. While they go in increasing numbers to therapists and doctors to cope with stress-related disease. Why is this happening? In David Diaz workshops and consultations, he hears independent and successful women complain that too many of today's men have become wimps, too weak and ambiguous to really trust. Sensitive and affectionate men are complaining that too many women have become ballbusters, too hardened and emotionally guarded to fully embrace. Is this the ultimate expression of human sexual wisdom and evolution, or is there another step to take? To answer these questions, we need to understand the nature of sexual passion and spiritual openness. Sexual attraction is based on the sexual polarity, which is the force of passion that arcs between the masculine and the feminine poles. All natural forces flow between two poles. The north and south poles of Earth create a force of magnetism. The positive and negative poles of your electrical outlet or car battery create an electrical flow. In the same way, masculine and feminine poles between people create the flow of sexual feeling. This is sexual polarity. And see, I already been knew this since time, bro, because I already watched Hamza, but it's such a basic thing that people need to understand that nobody wants to. This force of attraction, which flows between the two different poles of masculine and feminine, is the dynamism that often disperses in modern relationships. If you want real passion, you need a ravisher and a ravishee. Otherwise, you just have two buddies who decide to rub genitals in bed. Each of us, man or woman, possess both inner masculine and inner feminine qualities. Men can wear earrings, tenderly hug each other, and dance ecstatically in the woods. Women can change the oil in the car, accumulate political and financial power, and box in the ring. Men can take care of their children. Women can fight for their country. We have proven these things. Just about anyone can animate either masculine or feminine energy in a particular moment, although they still might have a strong preference to do one or the other, which we'll get to in a moment. The bottom line of today's newly emerging 50-50 or the second stage relationship is this. If men and women are clinging to a politically correct sameness, even in moments of intimacy, then sexual attraction disappears. I don't mean just the desire for intercourse, but the juice of the entire relationship begins to dry out. The love may still be strong, the friendship may still be strong, but the sexual polarity fades, unless in moments of intimacy, one partner is willing to play the masculine pole and one partner is willing to play the feminine. You have to animate the masculine and feminine differences if you want to play in the field of sexual passion. This is true in homosexual as well as heterosexual relationships. Actually, the gay and lesbian community is acutely aware that the sexual polarity is independent of gender. But you still need two poles for a passionate play of sexuality to persist in a relationship. Masculine and feminine, top and bottom, butch and femme, whatever you want to call these reciprocal poles of sexual play. It is up to you. You can have a loving friendship between two similars, but you need a more masculine and a more feminine partner in the moments when you want strong sexual polarity. It doesn't matter if both partners are men or both partners are women. It doesn't matter if in a heterosexual relationship the man plays the feminine pole and the woman plays the masculine pole, which I wouldn't recommend personally. It doesn't matter if you change every day who plays the masculine pole and who plays the feminine pole. For sexual polarity, you need an energetic polarity, an attractive difference between masculine and feminine. You don't need this difference for love, but you do need it for an ongoing sexual passion, as he puts in his notes here. For some people who have what I call a more balanced sexual essence, sexual polarity doesn't really matter. They don't really want much passion and intimacy, and they don't want a loving tussle full of sexual inspiration and innuendo. They would rather have a civilized friendship full of love and human sharing without the passionate ups and downs. And for these people, this book will be irrelevant, possibly even offensive. This book is written specifically for people who have a more masculine sexual essence and their lovers who will have a more feminine sexual essence. Since you will always attract your sexual reciprocal, these people can't help but be attracted into relationships based on difference, for better or for worse. Your sexual essence is your sexual core. If you have more masculine sexual essence, you would, of course, enjoy staying at home and playing with the kids. But deep down, you are driven by a sense of mission. You may not know your mission, but unless you discover this deep purpose and live it fully, your life will feel empty at its core, even if your intimate relationship and family life are full of love. And I can attune to that. Because ultimately, as a man, since the ripe age of 13, 14, my mission has always been, I've always had a sight of mission. And ever since I would say 15, then that was the turning point of when I actualized it, at least externally, to the people in my life. If you have a more feminine sexual essence, your professional life may be incredibly successful, but your core won't be fulfilled unless love is flowing fully in your family or intimate life. Let me just take this. The mission, or search of freedom, is the priority of the masculine line, whereas the search for love is the priority of the feminine. This is why people with masculine essences would rather watch a football game or a boxing match on TV than a love story. Sports are all about achieving freedom, such as by breaking free of your opponent's tackle or barrage of punches, and about succeeding at your mission by carrying the ball into the end zone or remaining standing after 10 whole rounds. For the masculine mission, competition and putting it on the line, indeed facing death, are all forms of ecstasy, and I could attune to that as well. But for the feminine, the search of love touches the core. Whether the soap operas and love stories or talking with friends about relationships, the desire for love is what appears in the feminine forms of entertainment. The feminine wants to be filled with love. And if the bliss of love, real love, is not forthcoming, chocolate and ice cream or a good romantic drama will do. The masculine wants to feel the bliss of a life lived at the edge. And if he doesn't have the balls to do it himself, he'll watch it on TV, in sporting events, and cop shows. Even happy and fulfilled men and women find it enjoyable to watch sports and eat ice cream, of course. I'm just trying to make a point. Even though all people have both masculine and feminine qualities that they could use at any moment to kick corporate ass or nurture children, for instance, most men and women also have a more masculine or feminine core, and this shows up in their regularly chosen entertainments, such as in the preferred sexual play. Think about it. Would you rather that your sexual partner was physically stronger than you? Or would you prefer to feel your level... Oh my god, I'm disabled. Or would you prefer to feel your lover's physical vulnerability? Which would turn you on more? To pin your partner on the bed below you, or to be pinned below by your partner? To be swept off your feet by a sensitive and strong lover, or to feel your lover surrender, swooning in your arms? You may want both at different times, but most often, which turns you on more? Okay, all right. Or does each of these... Well, actually, let me comment on this. I'm a full-grown man. The people around me are full-grown men and women. So the matter of fact is, we do have to face the ultimate act of being sexual, but not only that, but what surrounds love itself, which is, another way of, feeling your lover surrender, swooning into your arms, or being pinned over by your partner. Like, again, we do have to, being a Gen Z, guys, most people my age don't actually have the depth and understanding to force themselves into a way of thinking into relationships and their own, polarity of their masculine and feminine. They don't have the ability to think about that and to do that because I don't even have a reason. It's because I guess that's a lot of Gen Z. And it's not about like paying for dates. It's not about like blah, 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 driving, who's going to drive the car. Like, it's not about that. It's about yourself first and foremost. But I just want to comment on that we're fully grown men and women. We're above the age of 18. So we cannot hide and shelter from the fact that we do have to understand the sexual essence of, men and women, whether it be through themselves and/or their partners. Or does each of these alternatives turn you on the same? That is, are you just as turned on by a sexual partner who is physically weaker than you as by one who is stronger or exactly the same strength? Most people, about 90% in my experience, seem to have a definite preference. They definitely either prefer that their partner kills a cockroach crawling towards them, or they're fine with doing the crunchy job themselves, perhaps with a sporting fervor. Most people clearly favor watching a romantic love story on TV to a bloody boxing match or vice versa. They might be able to enjoy both at times, but their core becomes more emotionally involved in one or the other. If you have ever seen a group of masculine people watching a Super Bowl game, you just know how emotional the masculine core becomes while beholding a good mission of people living at their edge and giving their gifts, or getting slaughtered for failing. So, about 90% of people have either a more masculine or a more feminine sexual essence, passionately, lovingly, and fiercely. They would like to be ravished by or to ravish their intimate partner at least some of the time, in addition to having a loving friendship. This holds true for homosexual and heterosexual people alike. About 10% of people, men and women, heterosexual and homosexual, have a more balanced essence. Boxing matches and love stories equally make them emotional or not. It doesn't really matter to them whether their lover is physically stronger or more vulnerable than them. Jeez. Sexual polarity just isn't that important to them in relationships anyways, regardless of gender or sexual orientation. If you want to experience deep spiritual and sexual fulfillment, you must know your natural sexual essence, masculine and feminine, are balanced, and live true to it. You can't deny your true sexual essence by covering it with layers of false energy for years and then expect to know your authentic purpose and be free in the flow of love. This book is a guide to shedding pretense and living true to your core, specifically for people who have a masculine sexual essence and their feminine essenced lovers who have to deal with them. I can see the battery getting low. Oh my god. In a well-intentioned effort to provide equal opportunity and rights for men and women, many people are inadvertently squashing their true sexual essence. They don't have to. It's certainly possible to provide equality while also living true to your masculine and feminine core. But most people don't, so they suffer. And, that's actually pretty true for this modern day, in where a lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are in pain. A lot of people are not understanding anything to do with themselves. Your sexual essence in yourself plays a big part in that, in why you're suffering. Truth be told, as this book says. Most people are forgetting that the sameness that works in the office does not work in intimacy. For about 90% of couples, those couples composed of partners with masculine and feminine essences rather than balanced essences. If sexual passion is to flow in these polarized intimacies, masculine and feminine differences should be magnified, if not diminished, in moments of intimacy. When these polarities are lessened due to family and work obligations, sexual attraction is diminished along with spiritual depth and physical health. Stressing your masculine or feminine essence into a falsely balanced persona affects virtually every part of you. Many people with a true feminine essence many people with true feminine essences manifest a whole range of disturbed psychological symptoms as their feminine energy dries up due to running excess masculine energy through their body year after year after year in order to fit the masculine style of work. And many people with masculine essences seeking to fit in with the feminine style of cooperation and energy flow disconnect from their sense of life purpose and inhibit deep truth, afraid of the consequences of being authentic with their own masculine core. And you know what? I actually did struggle with that for a hot minute in my past. I was actually not true to myself and of being too authentic. So I was inauthentic for a time being. But the more authentic I do become, the more people attracted to me that are of actual intelligence. You know, having a, attractive personality also breeds authenticity. I just want you guys to understand that. All right. Hence, the frequent complaints about too many ball busters and wimps. Furthermore, when you deny your true core, you deny the possibility of real and true love. Love is openness through and through, and true spirituality is the practice of love, the practice of openness, even in of itself, and even in yourself. A person who denies their own existence and hides their true desires is divided and unable to relax into the full openness of love. Their spirit becomes cramped and kinked, unable to feel the natural ease and unconstrained power of their own core. They feel threatened and frightened. This fear is the texture of their inability to open fully in love. Such a person is spiritually handicapped, obstructed at heart, even though they may have achieved a safe relationship and a successful career to balance both the masculine frame and the feminine frame. So, as a culture, we have advanced in terms of personal freedom, sexual equality, and social rights, but we have remained spiritually thwarted and afraid. For the sake of individual autonomy and social fairness, with only good intentions in mind, we have androgynously begun to deny and smooth out and neutralize our masculine and feminine differences. In doing so, people often end up denying their deepest core desires, which are rooted in their sexual essence. As such, one of mine is, influencing people in a good way and changing lives. There's an example right there. That used to be suppressed when I was younger because I wasn't true to myself and in my masculine essence and my mission. A lot of people today think they have a balanced sexual essence, but in most cases, they're actually suppressing the natural desires which spring from their real masculine or feminine core. It is important to admit what is real if you are going to really deal with your life. The Way of the Superior Man, aka this mini-series, focuses on many of these issues which we often sidestep or deny, or just, let me add in side note here. Not only just sidestep or deny, but outright refuse to actualize and to see. We'll see and then actualize, because if we refuse to see it, how can we even actualize it? For example, if you truly have a balanced sexual essence, then you are just not that sexually distracted by anyone. But if you are, for instance, a heterosexual man with a true masculine essence, then you will be more or less constantly sexually attracted to the feminine women you see all day, at the workplace and on the street, to married women as well as teenage girls. As long as they shine the feminine light, you will feel the pull. How do you turn this potential sexual problem into a spiritual gift? If you have a masculine sexual essence, then you will probably have to admit, if you were being brutally honest, that your intimate relationship is just not as important to you as the mission in your life. Ultimately, this is true. I can atone to this. I can attest to this. This is ultimately true. When you have a fulfilled relationship, even if you would call it that, because how can you even have a fulfilling relationship if you're not advocating for your own mission? But if you have a somewhat of a relationship, you will still feel like you are literally dying. Like your existence does not matter, no matter how much people tell you they love you, and no matter how much times you hear it. it will just feel like you don't exist. As long as you are not, going forth into your mission, you really don't exist in yourself. Now, other people, that will not be true. It's not like other people will not see you because you're not doing your mission, but you yourself will not be able to actually be seen by yourself if you are not going towards your mission, constantly doing stuff to support it and indulging in it. And again, the fruits of the labor after your mission, I won't even get into that right now, but enjoy that shit too. But you still want a full and energetic, intimate relationship, perhaps quite badly. How do you deal with this often misunderstood dilemma? To answer questions such as these as clearly as possible, I have chosen to talk about this miniseries as if speaking to the most common case of a masculine sexual essence, a heterosexual man with a masculine sexual essence. As I've said, there are many other possible arrangements of gender essence and sexual preference. You could, for instance, be a heterosexual woman with a masculine essence married to a man with a feminine essence, or a homosexual man with a masculine essence married to a man with a feminine essence, and the principles in this book would still apply to you. Me personally, I'm a straight man, so with a masculine essence, so I will only be, talking about that for my personal stuff, but I won't go around like I am a straight man. So, I will reiterate again, I'll only be talking about the male sexual essence, how it's attuning to me. But I won't skip over the female sexual essence and the sexual preferences that come along with both men and women. Because, as the author describes in this book, it is actually necessary to know, to have in your brain at least the knowledge. So, but I trust the reader, or the listener in this case, to make the appropriate adjustment in wording for his or her own unique case if it is different from the most common one. And, you guys should do that too. Because I will, not everyone to watch this video is going to be a man. So my girlfriends are going to watch this video. So, in that case, attune to what I say for the feminine. I suppose the book could have been called The Way of the Superior Person with a Masculine Essence, but the whole thing would become unwieldy if I try to unfold every possible permutation of he and she and masculine sexual essence and balanced sexual essence and feminine sexual essence and every possible heterosexual, bisexual, homosexual relationship. In the end, I opted for simplicity. It might get confusing me saying, oh, I opted for simplicity, but it's still me author. So I say, in the end, David Dieta opted for simplicity. Just follow along. If you're intelligent, you know what I'm saying. Whether it's third person, first person. You can add the permutations yourself. If you or your partner has a masculine sexual essence, regardless of anatomy, gender, or sexual preference, this book will help you and clarify your life and enable you to give your deepest gifts personally and at work, sexually and spiritually. The Way of the Superior Man is a book written explicitly for people who have already achieved respect for other genders and sexual preferences and who consider men and women to be social, economic, and political equals. Now we are ready to move on to the next stage, grounded in this mutual respect and equality. Wow, I read that fast. Sorry, guys. But celebrating the sexual and spiritual passions inherent in the masculine and feminine polarity. I think because I'm looking down, it's kind of slurring what I say because my neck, but it's okay. It's time to evolve beyond the macho jerk ideal, all spine and no heart. It's time to also evolve beyond the sensitive and caring wimp ideal, all heart and no spine. Heart and spine must be united in a single man, and then gone beyond the fullest expression of love and consciousness possible, which requires a deep relaxation into the infinite openness of this present moment. And this takes a new kind of guts. This is the way of the superior man. Yes, sir. All right. So that was The Way of the Superior Man's introduction. If this book sounds somewhat interesting to you and a person with intelligence, of course it will. Because this actually brings about something that no average person has actually heard. When I first found this book, I learned like a trillion things from it. I had my mind opened. But let me just give a couple points here because this video is already freaking like an hour long, literally. I didn't know it takes me that much to read just the intro, but whatever. I did say that I was going to read a bit of the book and then go back, but what I meant is that the first part in this book is actually the preface to the 2004 edition. And, you know, I did want to comment on some things there and also the 20th anniversary edition, but because that happens and then the intro happens. But honestly, this video is already too long, so I might actually make that a separate another 0 chapter. Like, this is going to be 0 introduction. There's going to be another 0 to the preface to the other editions. Wow, I didn't breathe there. But the video's already too long, so sorry for lying to you guys. Other than that, again, I do want to say that, you know, the people that know me in real life are, you know, I hope you guys are of intelligence to gain something from this and to understand, you know, I'm talking to the men here at least, sorry girlfriends, understanding your masculine polarity and the fact that, yeah, every man that I know is you know, a straight male with a masculine essence, and there's no exception in any of my friends and any of the people just I know. So I really hope that you do gain some understanding of your own, you know, sexual essence through my words and through this book itself. I don't really want to comment too much on the introduction because I want you guys to get a feel of David Dia himself and how he, you know, shows out his guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. I want you guys to get a feel for his words and then in tune add on what I say onto that. I think it should be 2 separate things, his words and my words, and then you should add on my words to his. But I want you to at least first understand him and what he has written, if anything, because, you know, I am someone that is actually hard to understand. No matter how good I articulate what I say, my mind is still, you know, I still need to learn how to articulate good. So, again, I'm going to have a few comments on this, but this mini series is not just going to be me just, you know, reading and then leaving, well, ending the video. It's going to be about 2 perspectives, but also a merged perspective, David Dia and myself. And then I want you to create your own out of it, you know, out of the influence of my words as well, like of his and my words. Make something new of it and understand yourself and be in tune with being a man, because ultimately the content I make is going to be for men, whether you like that or not. I really don't want to do this, but it's been about maybe 6 or 7 years of, you know, growth, just the word growth. I'm going to leave every preface behind it just non-existent, just growth. The only reason I made that joke is because one of my friends, she wanted that joke in the video. So Zen, you got what you wanted. Are you happy? You freaking, are you happy? But anyways, aside from that joke, yeah, make sure to please subscribe to me and my channel. Become one of my angels. Let me guide you, and the result of that is I'll be able to influence the lives across the globe. My goal, that's my goal, my mission. I will always reiterate my mission at the end of the video, no matter what. I want to change the world, and I want, you know, I want to change the world. I want people to heed my message, to hear it, to involve themselves with it, to evolve themselves from it, and to become better people. And I want men to become better men. The domino effect, you know, changing lives will be changing the world. And ultimately, us men, strong-willed, will band together, and we will do what must be done, and we will become the curators of the new era. I just thought about this, actually. I am in the perfect place right now, influence-wise, because I'm not too young. I'm not a jit, so it's not like I don't know what's going on in the world and in people and etc. But I'm not too old to, you know, as a man, it's not really a harmful thing to be older. But I'm not too old that I'm not grouped in with, like, you know, the Iman Gadzhi, Andrew Huberman, Hamza Ahmed, you know? I'm not grouped with them because I'm just younger. I am going to be one of the curators of self-improvement for the new generation. That is my purpose. That is my job, you know, why I was created on this earth. So I have to influence the masses of the people, whether a little bit younger than me, whether a little bit older, whether whoever gains information from this, maybe a 15-year-old, you know, that is my job and my purpose. So I'd rather be in tune with that and my mission than to, you know, be another average nigga. I don't want to be another average nigga. I'm gonna be the curator of the new era, you know, the one that's gonna bring about it, and the one that's gonna influence the lives to bring about the era after that, and the era after that, and the era after that. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Boost up the algorithm for me so I can continue to influence more lives. It's already a long ass video, so let me know if you guys want more, and if you guys want to actually learn how to be a superior man. Thank you guys for watching. Now your internet angel is gone. Peace.